This is a video I never thought I'd make. I hate conflict and controversy, but there's something that's been bothering me more than avoiding those things, and after several years, it's finally time to speak up. For the last year, I've seen the internet rip apart Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey with nothing more than a few trailers and an abundance of rumors that pretty much all turned out to be false. But my YouTube feed was bombarded with videos declaring how terrible the movie was going to be and how this was going to be the end of Christopher Nolan. That Nolan was destroying history and riding too high on his own coattails, how the film was destined to bomb hard and destroy Nolan's reputation. And then, The Odyssey was finally released and is currently on track to becoming one of the greatest box office hits of Christopher Nolan's career. Not to mention holding the same Rotten Tomatoes score as Memento and The Dark Knight. In fact, it currently has an even higher audience score than The Dark Knight. Of course, box office takes and ratings aren't everything. There are plenty of excellent films that bombed hard and vice versa. But for the last year, the internet made a living by trashing a movie that we'd only seen approximately 4 minutes of. 4 minutes of a 2-hour and 53-minute film. That's something like 2.3% of the film seen completely out of order and without context. But somehow that's enough to fuel a year of hate and doom and gloom scenarios. And I think I know exactly why. Hate and negativity get clicks. Clicks make money, money makes a living. But breaking down every single frame of a 2-minute trailer and declaring how stupid a movie is going to be is doing something to our art form that was never intended. And it actually has nothing to do with the films and trailers themselves. It has everything to do with human psychology. But for this to make sense, we need to take a quick look at the historical context of movie trailers. If we're considering movie trailers micro stories, tiny pieces of art, when done well, the entire purpose is to sell you on seeing that particular movie out of all the tens of thousands of available options. But historically, movie trailers haven't been all that amazing. The trailer for the original Star Wars should have been thrown in the trash compactor. It did little to excite the imagination or give that feeling of anticipation and suspense that has been honed so carefully in recent decades. And I'm definitely not saying that all modern movie trailers are done well. But the purpose of a movie trailer was never to give you a complete story, a finished narrative, every answer to every question. But that's exactly how the world of social media now treats them. And I absolutely am throwing YouTube into that social media category. The point of a teaser is to tease, to get us excited about something that hasn't happened yet. And in recent years, to get us to analyze deeply and guess and wonder about what's to come. But we've turned that into glorified nitpicking, pulling individual lines and shots out of context and declaring how this is proof that the movie is doomed and destined for, well, I guess that same trash compactor. Because negativity, say it together with me, it gets clicks. And everyone knows that clicks is the path to the dark side. Clicks lead to anger, anger leads to, okay, you get it. But all this negativity is doing something collectively worse to the world of cinema audiences, you and me included. As humans, we're designed to be social creatures. Straying away from the group historically has led to things like being looked down upon, being an outcast, being shunned. I'm purposely being extreme here, but that's the point. When we're constantly bombarded with the same thoughts and negative opinions that are being screamed to the tune of millions of views on YouTube, we inherently feel the pressure to agree because that's what feels safe. I have this memory I'll never forget of talking to some friends after the midnight showing of Star Wars The Last Jedi. I didn't get a chance to see the movie opening night, but I definitely cornered a couple of friends the next day to ask how it was. Words like amazing and incredible were used. But then something interesting happened. A few days later, after the world erupted with negative reviews on social media, those same friends had done complete 180s. They now hated the film. And worse, they were spouting the same exact critiques that were most prevalent online. They let the internet do their thinking for them. And I'm seeing this now again, barely days after the teaser trailer for season 3 of The Rings of Power dropped. Video after video after video is blasting my YouTube homepage, declaring how this is the end of the show, it's an affront to Tolkien, a tragedy, all these things, all based on roughly 2 minutes of footage of what's going to be around 8 hours of TV. That's 0.416666667% for those keeping count. I'm purposely not showing you screenshots of those thumbnails or clips from those videos because again, I hate conflict and I have zero desire to single anyone out. But I am going to say something controversial. We're being childish, collectively, creators and consumers alike. As creators, we're capitalizing on movies and TV that have even that tiniest hint of potential controversy in feeding the machine that thrives on negativity, even when and if there's no proof. Even when we know we don't even have close to the full context. And as consumers, we're seeing all these videos saying just about the exact same thing, and we're eating it up and regurgitating it as our own thoughts and opinions. And if you don't believe me, consider this. Have you ever heard someone say that they hated The Rings of Power because it deviated from the book? I have to imagine that you have. But has that same person declared that they love the Lord of the Rings films? This is always such an interesting dichotomy to me, because what did people say in the early 2000s when the elves marched on Helm's Deep? Or when Faramir took Frodo and the ring to Osgiliath? Or when Arwen's fate was somehow magically tied to the ring without any explanation? Or when Frodo told Sam to go home? Or when Arwen replaced Glorfindel entirely? Not to be the guy that says, in those days, but I am going to say it. In those days, we watched the movie, formed our own thoughts and opinions on the way home and while we were trying to fall asleep that night, and then the next day had face-to-face conversations with our friends where we acknowledged those flaws and discrepancies and changes from book to movie, and then went on to gush about epic battles, more than memorable characters, and scenes that tug deeply on our hearts. We took the good and the bad together, and we made it our own. This is what was intended for our precious cinematic art form. But now it pays to be exclusively negative, and that negativity gathers like a snowball until saying something like, yeah, I didn't like what they did in that scene of Rings of Power, but that other scene was pretty cool. Saying something like that gets you ostracized because everyone else has bought into the exact same thing. The childish lie that just because one thing is subjectively bad, that makes the rest of it equal levels of trash. There's no room to enjoy parts and not enjoy the other. If one thing is bad, the rest is terrible. That's where we've ended up. And we're seeing the exact same thing happening with the upcoming HBO Harry Potter series and the upcoming Avengers Doomsday. Might these stories be terrible? They absolutely could be. But why are we choosing to decide this ahead of time? Because all of this is absolutely a choice. A choice, if boiled down way too simply, is due to money on one side and not being willing to go against the crowd on the other side. And at a time when life is hard for most people, that's simpler and easier. But is it better? Is it making our life more meaningful? And is it letting us actually enjoy movies? Only you can decide.